Minister of State NHA Nityanand ji, respected Secretary Power Alok Kumar ji, dignitaries on the dais, and colleagues. Manani Mantri ji has started by saying the emphasis on the climate change. So I'll begin with that, and I'll say that this is one slide from the World Economic Forum which says that the climate risk will be highest impact on the human life, and the probability of having the climate related disasters are much more. And the impact of these disasters have started showing their result: unstable food supply, extreme weather conditions, mass extinctions of the marines and the terrestrial ecosystem, water sources, and because of these four, the social unrest. These are the factors which will come because of the climate change problem. And if these are not addressed, then the 30% of the world GDP will get affected. The industries which are going to get affected due to these will be mainly the transport sector, as we can see. But after transport, the sector which is going to get affected is the utility and the energy. And globally, if we look at the trend, the energy sector is already getting affected. The hurricanes in Texas has resulted in the electric outage. The rising heat waves in Europe has led to the increased demand of electricity and refrigeration problems in the nuclear plants. The Californian wildlife has resulted in the bankruptcy of one of the utilities. So it's high time that we enter into the area where we control the climate change. And distributed renewable energy offers the two advantages. One is that the renewable energy by nature reduces the carbon emissions, and by virtue of being generated from the natural resources is resilient to the supply chain disruptions in traditional form of power, such as transportation of the fuels during disaster. The modular designs of the solar panels and easy to installations is helpful in mitigating the disaster problems. The small systems can be deployed locally and independently for meeting the localized power requirement. And we have seen the use of the renewable energies during the Bihar flood, where the independent mini grids have provided the power. The solar bus fitted with the which can desalinate the water provided the water during the flood situation. And demand for the solar backed lights and the devices shot up in the Odisha after the disasters. So the ultimate aim is to have a power generation throughout nook and corner of the country, and to encourage the distributed renewable energy. The Ministry of New and Renewable Energy is running various programs, out of which one program is the PM Kusum program, where the purpose is to de-dieselize the agriculture pump and make the farmers from Annadata to Urjadata. So this provides the solar pumps in their farms. Apart from that, the solar rooftop scheme, which provided power at the consumers become a power generator at their residential premises. And apart from that, the off-grid solar devices like solar lamps, solar street lights, they are being distributed, so that in case of disasters, there immediately power is available to the consumer. And in order to ensure that the safety guidelines and the qualities of these installations are ensured by issuing the regular guidelines from the MNRE, and at the same time we do the remote monitoring of these installations to see that are they generating the electricity as per the standards or not. However, there are plants which are there all over the India, and there are solar parks, there are other things, and as the Honorable Minister has said, that it has a huge financial implication, and it is the time for us to see that those plants are also coming in a DRR guidelines. So I have just put a 6 pillars for any plants to come up. The one is the site selection. For selecting a site, any plant, whether it is a wind plant or a solar plant or renewable energy plant, should ensure that the site has a longevity. The National Institute of Wind Energy, National Institute of Solar Energy keep on issuing the guidelines and the locations-wise data based on the historical figures, so that the developers can ensure that where they should go for their wind farms or where they should go for their solar farms. The designs of the wind farms or the solar plants has to be resilient. It should be ensured that the reinforced blades, stronger foundations are there so that they can withstand the high wind, as well as the mounting structure of the solar plant should be so that it can withstand strong wind and the heavy smoke. Backup and emergency again is a very important part of the DRR in the renewable sector, because the emergency response plan outlines the steps to be taken in the event of disaster is very important, and there comes the role of the storage. So it's very important that most of these plants should have some sort of a storage, so that in case of crisis they have a storage power which can be used. Climate resilience, the way the climate is changing, it is very essential that the climate based forecasting is being done by the developer before going for a design of their plant. And since a lot of investment is being involved, it is very essential that the insurance and the risk management are being taken care of to ensure that the financial part is taken care of. Last but not the least, the community engagement. Engaging with local community is very important. Most of these renewable plants require the almost negligible O&M. So the first sight of help has to come from the local people. So stakeholder is crucial in ensuring the renewable energy project, and it is essential that the developer works with the local authorities and emergency responder to develop the emergency plan, and public information campaign is needed from their side. In the last, I will just say that the power is essential for the emergency services and the communication system during disaster. Therefore, integrating disaster risk reduction measure into renewable energy project will help to build more resilient communities and reduce the impact of disaster on both people and the communities. Thank you.